Hey up me duck, it's Links Live's Natters time, where your stories come alive. From the fens to the coast. So grab a cuppa and relax with your go-to podcast for unique Lincolnshire stories.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Links Live's Natters, the podcast where we share stories that matter from people living and working across Lincolnshire. We've got a really touching story today. I'm really happy to be doing this one. Our guest today is Jonathan Dawson, full-time accountant. Very much so. A cycling enthusiast, hence why we're here. And a man honouring the memory of his dad in a very personal way. 20 years ago, Jonathan's dad completed one of the UK's biggest walking challenges from Land's End to John O'Groats, known as Le Jog, Jonathan? Le Jog, is it?
Yeah,
Le Jog?
Le Jog.
Yep. And now Jonathan is gearing up to do the same route by bike while raising funds and awareness for causes that's close to his heart. Jonathan, hello, and welcome to the Links Life Natters podcast.
Hi, Shelley. Thank you for the invite.
You're welcome. So excited to be telling your story today about what you're up to and stuff. So your dad sounds like a real character, Jonathan. For those who don't know, how can you paint us a picture of him?
He was a lovely man. He was very much like his father. If I get anywhere close, then I'll be very happy. Above all, he was literally a gentle man. He was very caring, modest. He would say determined. Most other people say stubborn, as a mule. But yeah, he was lovely, and I still miss him very much.
Oh, bless you.
But he had a long and mostly happy life.
Yeah, and he sounded like he was a real role model to you as well.
Yeah, he was.
Hence why you're doing.
Well, yes. I mean, if you think about it, he had to be both a mum and a dad for me, because I lost my mum when I was quite young.
Oh, bless you. Did that hit you quite hard?
Absolutely, yes. Not as hard as it hit him. I would say, through all the challenges in his life, probably the grief of losing the love of his life was the biggest, and it affected the rest of his life. And that's 50
I think it
years.
does, doesn't it? Because when you're with somebody for so long and you expect that person to be there sort of every day, every night, isn't it? And then all of a sudden, that person's not there, are they?
Yeah. No, I mean, because she died of cancer, you do have that period of her being unwell to get used to the idea, but nothing really prepares you for it, does it?
No, because when somebody's diagnosed with something, you think, yes, the inevitable probably is going to happen, and you think you've got that transition time but you don't, do you? Because it's still,
I think it's quite simple that nothing does prepare you, however much you try and prepare.
And 20 years ago, he took on this huge walk across the UK. What was his motivation back then?
Well, he told the local newspaper at the time that it was for something to do, but as was often the case with him, he was underplaying it somewhat. He'd done most of the long-distance walks in the United Kingdom, certainly England, Scotland and Wales anyway. But he'd not done Land's End to John O'Groats. He'd done the Pennine Way, the West Highland Way, Offers Dyke, all those quite challenging walks.
Yeah, so he decided he was doing this one.
But the big one would be his sort of final hurrah, because he'd already been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and although he was still very active, it was starting to affect his health. And
you thought that really was his sort of like last hurrah. He really wanted to go out and make that quite a big one, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Initially, he was just doing it for himself, but then one of his good friends suggested he might like to do it for a local charity, hospice. So he said yes, of course he would.
So let's fast forward. You moved to Lincolnshire 3 years ago now,
yes.
Roughly? About 3 years?
Yeah, it's 3 years and 1 month.
Yeah, and the newspaper article, which we're just going to go and show you now, if you want to just hold this up and stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this news article, aren't we? And why it suddenly popped back into your head and things.
Yeah, well, things do pop up, don't they, when you're packing and unpacking. And I found it at that time, read it and was reminded of it, but thought nothing more of it. beginning of this year, I was sorting out my home office, and up it popped again. And I thought, wow, 20 years. I need to do something to celebrate my dad's life.
Yeah.
And that, as I say, was his last hurrah, his big last challenge. So I thought I'd do something similar.
And how did your wife feel about this?
She's very supportive.
Bless her. We do love you, Heidi.
Certainly do.
Yeah. So, you're taking on this epic challenge, aren't you now?
Well, mine's not quite as epic as my dad's was. It actually took him 80 days of walking.
80 days of walking.
Which I couldn't possibly commit that time to.
That's a lot of days.
It is, isn't it?
It's 80 days. What's that?
Yeah.
So how many months is that? That's what.
It's a good 3 months, isn't it?
3 months, isn't it? It'd be your own race across the world, except this would be race across the UK, wouldn't it?
Yeah, not really a race.
But not really a race, but it would be a challenge across the UK.
Definitely.
We do see. So you've decided to own the jog, haven't you?
Yeah. It's a ride that I'd like to do, but it seemed fitting 20 years on to celebrate my dad's achievement.
Because you're doing yours by bike, aren't you? In 11
yes,
days?
I'm taking the easy way out.
We initially said 11 days. Are you thinking a bit longer now, or are you going to still try and think about the 11 days?
As you know, I've had to reschedule a little bit.
Oh, yes. We'll talk about this.
Yeah. Ideally, I'd still like to cycle it in 11 days, but I have built a little bit of slack in case it's not doable.
Yeah. Always best to be prepared and stuff like that. Not push too hard, because you did have a little bit of an accident recently, haven't
Which
you?
one?
Which one?
Yes.
Which one do you want to tell us about, Jonathan?
Well, not long after I decided on this challenge, I was walking to a business meeting at Brayford, and I was more preoccupied with the meeting than I was with where I was putting my feet. Tripped and...
so it was local?
Oh, yeah. Gave myself a double fracture of my shoulder, which meant I couldn't ride, drive, or do very much of anything. I'm pleased to say that I'm over that now. But then 2 weeks ago, having replanned my route for July, I then came off my bike on a slippery road surface and gave myself a double fracture of my pelvis.
And where were you when you'd had this accident?
Netleham.
Netleham. So we're not talking exotic locations like the Lake District or anything like that.
You don't think Netleham's exotic?
Netleham's not exotic.
I think it's very exotic.
Netleham's exotic.
Yeah, there's a lovely little cycle track just as you approach it, and it was also a very slippery cycle track, and unfortunately I came off.
Oh, bless you. I mean, how do you feel in yourself now? Are you ready for your challenge? That determination is what is there saying, yes, I'm ready to get out on my bike, but you've got to take it slowly to recover.
Yeah, I have already rebooked all my train journeys and my accommodation for the first few days. My route is unusual in that I'm coming up the east side rather than the west of England, so I can spend at least one night in my own bed. But yeah, I'm not the most patient person, but I'm being very patient with my recovery. Yeah,
because I suppose to get back on your bike and want to get back out there and do everything, but you've got to have your recovery time, haven't you?
Yeah, the temptation is to do too much, but I've got plenty of time.
Oh, bless you. This isn't just a physical challenge for you. This is quite a personal one as well, because you spoke about you losing your mum as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Unlike my dad, I was clear from the outset that I would try and raise funds along the way. And reflecting on my dad's life, he was affected very much by cancer. My mum died of stomach cancer, and then later in his life by Parkinson's. And I've raised funds for both of those and fantastic causes.
Yeah, because I was going to ask about that and stuff, because you've raised money for charities before, haven't you?
Yeah, but they're both quite high profile, aren't they?
Cancer research and Parkinson's and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But bereavement is not so much
It's
high
something
profile.
that's not really talked about, is it? Well,
No.
it isn't. It is and it isn't it?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, there are only two certainties in life: death and taxes.
There speaks the accountant.
Well, in my day job, I cover one, and
yeah.
in this ride, I'll be covering the other one.
Yeah. So, how's your mindset regarding sort of like? Obviously, we know you've had a few accidents. Sort of. So, how's your mindset going into the challenge again?
I can't wait, but I have to wait. I couldn't physically do it now. I don't know about mentally. Coincidentally, I was chatting to a friend who did it last year. Different version, but he did go from Land's End to John O'Groats.
Yeah, because I've actually looked at it on the map. When I knew you were coming on, I actually looked at the map and go, that's a blooming long way.
It is a long way, yeah.
Especially when you look at the top half of Scotland into John O'Groats and thinking, those roads are quite little up there, aren't they?
They are. It takes as long to
and
get
a lot
across
of hills.
Scotland as it does to get from Land's End up to Scotland. But he was saying to me that for him, the physical aspect wasn't actually a big issue, but he found it quite tough mentally. And he was
How
in a
many
group.
miles is it, Jonathan?
Well, my version's about 1,100 miles.
That's a lot, isn't it?
It is, but I'll get to see so much of the country that I haven't seen before, won't I?
I suppose that's the one advantage, being on your bike and stuff like that, is because normally you don't get to see a lot of these things, do you? Because you're in your car, you're concentrating on your driving and things like that, aren't you? And there's little things, isn't there, that you just don't see.
Definitely, though. I must stress, for Heidi's benefit, that I will be concentrating on my cycling.
He will be concentrating, Heidi.
but because you're travelling so much more slowly, yes, you see an awful lot more.
Yeah. We promise you, Heidi, he will be concentrating on the road.
At the Thrive Tribe, we believe everyone deserves the chance to soar. Whether you're an individual seeking self-improvement or a business aiming for success, we've got you covered. Personalised coaching. Unlock your potential with our expert coaches. One-on-one guidance tailored to your unique goals. Learn flexibly online. Boost your skills from Microsoft Office mastery to work-based expertise. Lifelong learning? We've got the keys. So whether you're an aspiring professional, a business leader, or simply hungry for growth, join the Thrive Tribe today. Visit thethrivetribe.com and let's ignite your journey. Remember, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. The Thrive Tribe, where potential meets possibility.
Hey there, Lincolnshire business owners. Struggling to be found online? Still buried on page 3 of Google? Wondering if anyone's even looking? Well, stop stressing and join the Lincolnshire Business Directory. It's completely free to join, and you'll finally start getting noticed. Think of it like shouting from the hilltops, but digitally. Want to really make a splash? For just £99, you can upgrade to a premium listing and get in front of more eyes. You'll be the talk of the town. It's super easy. Pick a plan, create your listing, and boom, you're live. Customers will be finding you faster than you can say SEO. Head to www.lincolnshirebusinessdirectory.co.uk. Don't miss out. Your customers are waiting.
What I was going to say was, what are some of the highlights you're looking for, throwing this one in? What do you think you're looking forward to on the ride, seeing on your route?
I think in terms of geography, the first 2 or 3 days are very difficult, very challenging, for some really steep hills, up and down.
Yeah, because I don't know that end of the country.
Yeah.
It's sort of like Devon, Cornwall, isn't it, when you first start?
That's right.
I don't actually know that end of the country. So portray a picture for me.
Yeah, beautiful. Almost as quiet as Lincolnshire, but not quite. But very, very hilly.
Yeah. Is this going up?
Yeah. I'm only planning on doing half as many miles on those days as I have later when it gets a little bit easier, hopefully. And in terms of what I'll see en route, the only thing that I've actually scheduled as being must-see is there's some horse sculptures near Falkirk called the Kelpies.
Oh, the Kelpies.
Yeah.
Yes, I know about
I've
those.
put those on my route. I'm not sure when I'll get to see them because my itinerary is a little bit vague once I get past Lincoln, to be honest. But they're definitely on there. And of course, not of course, but I've never been to John O'Groats, so I haven't seen the north coast of Scotland.
So will it be that epic picture? Obviously, it'll be a huge achievement when you get to John O'Groats, and that epic picture of everybody standing on the signpost,
With the signpost,
yeah, and stuff.
I'll be doing those
I'm here.
pictures, both ends, obviously. But yeah, the last day is riding along the north coast of Scotland, and again, the Peter I was talking to last week, he was saying it is absolutely stunning. Quite barren in places, but stunning nonetheless.
Yeah, because when you look at a map and stuff like that, and you do look at that top half of Scotland, you're thinking, like I said to you about the roads, and it's sort of like parts of it up there are just barren, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's just heather.
There is nothing there.
There is nothing, not even so much as a well-known restaurant, or but we don't want them. It's sort of like it's just peaceful and quiet, isn't it? It looks really lovely, Jonathan. Where and saying that, we say about memories. What memories do you remember of your dad's?
Yeah,
the jog.
My first memory of it was I dropped him off at Land's End, and that felt quite lonely. There were other people also setting off at the same time, but yeah, there was a degree of sadness and trepidation about how he'd get on.
Do you think you were worried about him, sort of thing?
Oh, of course I was.
So you were doing what Heidi's doing?
Yes, yeah.
For everybody who doesn't know, Heidi is Jonathan's lovely wife.
Indeed, she is, yeah. I actually got to see him again rather sooner than I anticipated because he injured himself walking into Oakhampton. So I had to go and collect him and then take him back again. But other than his injury, he was actually doing fine. And it was a long time before I saw him again.
Because that's the injury in Oakhampton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like the upturned turtle moment.
Oh, that was actually much closer to home. He lived in Huddersfield, and part of the route for walkers is the Pennine Way.
Pennine Way, yeah.
And bizarrely, probably he was only 5 miles from home on the Pennine Way when he managed to fall into a stream, onto his back. He had a very big, heavy rucksack because he was doing it unsupported, camping most nights. And he just couldn't get up.
You never realise cyclists have such intrepid sort of journeys and accidents, really, do you? It's not until you start talking to somebody that will have had this accident and you've had that accident. Yeah. Because if you're not in, to cycling, you don't think about these things, do you?
No. Perhaps my family are just inordinately accident-prone.
I'm not saying that, Jonathan. I'm not saying that.
58 years, the worst I've done previously was broken a toe, which I'm embarrassed to say I was drunk and dancing. And then in the last 4 months, I've had 2 double fractures.
So when you get to the end of John O'Groats, it will be a huge achievement, won't it?
Oh, massive, yeah.
Absolutely massive and stuff. Let's get down to how people can support you. How can people get involved? Can they come and wave to you on the route? Can
Absolutely.
We donate money?
Yeah, any support is welcome. I am coming back through Lincoln and Market Raisin, where I live, after I think it's scheduled to be day 5, and it's a long day, so I will be pretty tired by the time I get into Lincolnshire. So anyone saying hello, any words of encouragement, very welcome indeed. In terms of donating, obviously, great. On my pannier bags on my bike, I've got a QR code.
So if we see you, we can scan the QR codes and stuff, and that will take us direct to your site. And
I should have a jersey with a QR code on the back as well.
So
cool. There's no escape.
There's no escape. So even if you're riding if we're sort of riding along and it's sort of like, oh, we missed that, we can just QR your back.
Yeah. I mean, the fundraising is important, but it's not really the main thing. the raising awareness is more important.
Yeah.
Because when my mum died, we weren't aware of any support. Crew's bereavement support were actually in existence all that time ago, which is 50 years ago. They did exist, but who knew?
Yeah. Do you think it's still very much a taboo subject? People don't want to talk about it. They just sort of allow the emotions to go round in their head.
Yeah, I don't think it's taboo. It's just difficult, isn't it?
Difficult, yeah.
You know, for both the people who are grieving and for those around them. What do you say? When do you say it? There's no good time, is there?
Because people always say, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss
Yeah.
and stuff." People don't know how, to have that conversation.
Yeah.
They'll sort of say, "Yes, I'm very sorry for your loss." They want to talk, but they can't.
Doesn't go any further than that. And conversely, when people ask you how you are, you just say, "Oh, I'm fine,
thank you."
Yeah.
I think as British, we just do it, don't we? We just, I'm fine, and in your head, there's like a whole mix of emotions going through your head, isn't there?
Yeah.
But as British, we just, I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
Well, actually, what you're thinking is,
yes,
I'm a
please have a
mess.
chat.
Yeah.
please
I don't
have
know which way is up.
Yeah, please have a chat with me. But I just don't know how, to have that conversation and stuff like that. What message do you hope people will take away from your ride? Whether they've lost someone or not.
Well, to a certain extent, I've already had quite a surprise with the number of people who have got in touch, who have, a lot of them have donated, how they've said that they've struggled with losses, including astonishingly a number who lost a parent very young, and how much it affected them. So I suppose it's a lot of it is just being kind to each other.
Yeah, because I actually lost both my parents in their 30s as well. Yeah. It's sort of like with my dad. My I've never actually spoken about this. My dad actually got cancer, and he it started in his kidney, so he got the worst one first, unfortunately, and then it went to his stomach as well. And we lost him within 6 months.
Wow.
And then sort of a year later, my mum went as well. So both of them went in quite quick succession. Yeah. But then I didn't think to have any grief counselling or anything like that, because I did the British thing. No, I'm fine. I can cope. But I still do think about them every day. You just can't help it.
Yeah.
Because, there's sort of like an event comes up, or like for you, it was the newspaper.
Yeah.
Clipping, it comes into your head.
Yeah. Or you're just doing something and you think you'll tell them about it. And then, of course, you can't.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but not face to face anymore.
Yeah. Do you think we're still uncomfortable? I know we've discussed this. The country is still sort of uncomfortable with discussing grief. Do you think we're getting better at it?
No. And I'm not convinced that we've really progressed in terms of support in the intervening 50 years. Because until I actually looked into it, I didn't know what support was available.
It's when something happens into your life, and you suddenly find yourself in this mix of different charities and things, because it's something that's come into your life, isn't it? It's an event or something's happened to sort of make you look into.
Yeah, I think it is generally when something directly affects you, isn't it?
And you find yourself going into groups and thinking, I never would have imagined I'm going down this route and helping at this group and going to this. Yeah.
I mean, one of the great things about Cruise, when I did decide that I was going to do it for bereavement support, was that they reached out to me to check whether I still needed any support.
Isn't that amazing?
I thought that was really good, yeah.
Is that a local branch?
No, it's a national organisation. They're based down south, but they do support the whole country.
And they reached out to you. How did that make you feel, that they reached out to you?
I was touched and impressed as well.
Oh, that's amazing. So well done, Cruise, for reaching out to yourself and stuff like that. And finally, what do you think your dad would think of this endeavour you're taking on at the moment?
He'd probably be as worried as I was when he did it. I hope that he would be proud of me following in his footsteps, not literally. And he probably wouldn't say a great deal. He'd just cross his fingers and hope for the best.
Yeah, is that a man thing?
Quite possibly.
It's sort of like okay, son, yes, you're doing really, really well and stuff, and then...
Yeah, I mean, bless him, he held me in higher esteem than he should have done, but he generally trusted me to make my own decisions and was there for me if I got it wrong.
You speak about your dad with such emotion and such passion as well. That really, really comes through.
Thank you.
Almost like he's a role model. You know, that's coming through there. He was like a role model. Hence why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I think as you get older, you do sort of reflect more, don't you?
Yeah, because when you're younger, you're just sort of like, oh, it's mum and dad, you know, or bank of mum and dad and stuff. It's sort of like, you know, you do sort of take advantage of them, I guess, when you're younger, don't you, and stuff. You know, and then, like you say, you get to a certain age, it's like, and when they're gone, you know, there's some conversations you really wish you'd had, wasn't there?
Yes, I don't think you ever get to say everything you want to, but we did have some good chats as
yeah.
we both
One
got
thing we
older.
haven't discussed is, do you have a new? Are you still originally going for the date you planned on, or have you put the dates back now? Or
Well, my original plan would have had me back and done at the beginning of May. My amended plan had me back before the midges.
Oh yes, the midges in Scotland.
Yeah. My new improved plan has me setting off the week after the August bank holiday, and I hope to be back in Lincolnshire on, well, I'll be back twice, but having completed it, back on the 11th.
Yeah, because what we'll do is we'll put all that information on our social media channels as well. So anybody who wants to donate and keep up with Jonathan, we will put that all on our social media channels so everybody can keep up with your journey.
Great.
And also donate as well.
Well, I am actually, Heidi's set up a Facebook group for my journey.
Yes, she has.
And I have committed to updating it so people can track my progress there.
Oh, that's amazing. So we can see what you're up to, sort of like, oh, I've done this today, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And Jonathan, thank you so much for talking to us today on the Links Lives Matters podcast.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Shelley. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Because loss touches all of us, I guess. If you'd like to donate, cheer Jonathan on, or find out more about Cruise bereavement support, all the links will be available on our social media sites and our websites. And remember, kindness goes a long way, whether it's online or on the road. So if you see him with his QR code on the back of his jersey, because that's what they call them in cycle terms, on the back of his jersey, please scan it and donate every penny, even if it's only £1. That £1 will go a long way to helping somebody as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the Links Lives Matters podcast, where you get your podcast from. Also, you can watch from our website, linkslivesmatters.com. Thank you to my technical team. Thank you for helping me out today. Thank you so much also to the think tank for providing our studio today. And until next time, thank you for listening to the Links Lives Matters podcast. I've been Shelley.